welcome to Elefant Roses. My name is Katie. For hashtag fridaysews, thank you, Jen, for starting this hashtag. It's really wonderful that we have this opportunity to show off our sewing in an environment with other sews. So today I'm going to go through some of the different projects I have. Welcome to my new studio. I'm in the part of my living room. Like a lot of sews, I don't have a dedicated sewing space, and over there is my office where I work remotely every day. So it's a combination sewing office, and I'm in part of the living room as you can see by the patio door behind me. So hopefully you enjoy this video, and please leave me a comment and a like below. I definitely want to hear what you think and your opinion of my sewing projects, so it'd be great to do that. So as I'm gonna get started, so today I'm gonna go through what I've been sewing lately. I am getting ready to sell some aprons and other items I've sewed and knitted and crocheted on my own Etsy store. So lots of things to show. And then I also have a bunch of works in progress too. So let's get started. So this is the first one, and I'll pop in a picture so it's better to see as well. It's just a adjustable apron, so it's one also on my Etsy. It's quilting cotton with roosters, so it's kind of cute. So I'll put in a picture so you can see the whole thing too. And the next one I call Postcards from Paris. It is a cotton ticking with quilting cotton, the pictures of postcards from Paris. There's two big pockets. It's a crossback apron, so it's kind of fun. It's fun to make aprons because you get to be artistic and mix and match. And sometimes you can just have just simple plain ones. So this is a blue heather linen. And again, it is another crossback apron, and I can stick in better pictures too. So I'll stick those up in the corner. And then I made some half aprons to sell. These are chickens with some red gingham fabric with the matching waistband. And then this is the same one, except for it's black and white check. And there's one more apron, and that's this one. And this one's just a cotton ticking again. If you've never used cotton ticking, it's phenomenal. It's really durable. So I really like it. So again, another crossback apron. So that's my aprons. I have one more on my table. I'll shoot down so you can see the lovely pile. So what happens during the week is I work full-time in that corner. So during the week I work full-time, so I do a lot of prep work. Weekends is when I do the bulk of my sewing. So another thing I'm making and getting ready to put on Etsy is these little knitting bags. They're small enough that they fit in my bucket bag of a purse. And so I can take it with me. And so I'm just going to make some of these to sell with these little tassels. It's a 12 of Eve pattern. I use a lot of dead stock fabric. So dead stock is the end of the bolt, or AK remnant fabric. So it's the that I use a lot for my projects like aprons and sewing bags and that kind of thing. And then that saves money when I want to make other things that are more important for what I want. I'm a budget sewer, so everything has to be within the budget. So and the inside of that knitting bag, I just did some simple diamonds, nothing fancy, but it's lined so it's nice and squishy. So I'm also a quilter, so I wanted a nice squishy soft bag that, you know, could hold up to anything. So the inside is made with quilting cotton, so it's a little bit more durable, because knitting needles can, you know, the caps can fall off the ends of your knitting needles and bang around inside your bag and do a number on the lining, I found, in my personal opinion. The next thing I'm working on is this coat. So as you can tell, it's in Danish. I took a trip in 2018, and one of my splurges on my trip, because I live in the United States, so we can't get Berta magazine. So I bought Berta Style magazine. Saturday Night Stitch, before I left on my trip, she showcased this March issue, and I went in April, the first week of April, and I was able to find this when I was there. So this one has a ton of patterns. It's got coats and everything. So this, I've made other things out of this magazine. This magazine is, I've made so many objects out of this thing. So the frock coat is, I haven't made it before. So it called for a jacquard. So I don't want it that long either, because it goes well past my knees. I'm only 5'4", so for me, the length of it goes well past my knees, and I don't need something that long. So I cut it and shortened it, so it's going to hit me about mid-thigh. And I also didn't want a jacquard. My job isn't that fancy. I just wanted something nice that looked good on camera, but would be cozy and warm, because, well, it's winter and I live in the northeast of the United States, so it gets kind of cold here sometimes. So what I'm using is, and I'll use one of these pieces, it's a it's all cut out so you can hear the crinkle, because I've got the tissue paper behind. It's a wool boucle fabric, and I hope I said boucle correctly. My Girl Charlie fabric had it on sale at the end of last season, so like spring I got it, and it was a really good deal, so I got this. So that's what that looks like. And then the lining I got off a remnant. I have no idea what it is. It's soft and squishy, and the boucle and this are both knits. They're two-way knits. So the inside of it looks like this. So I don't know if you can see that very well, but I'm going to put the soft fuzzy side on the inside of the coat and use it for a liner. So that should make it nice and warm. So that's my coat. And then the other thing I'm working on currently is somebody very dear to me currently is physically disabled due to a medical condition. And so he is really struggling. He can't get things over his head. And again, it's cold. It's the Northeast, so you want to wear warm layers and sweaters and be nice and cozy. So he's really struggling because he can't get him over his head. And he's a pretty good sized guy. He's 6'4". So finding sweaters, cardigans, that kind of thing is normally difficult too. And I'm a knitter, but I can't keep up with making a sweater for me and making a sweater for him. It takes twice as long because it's twice as big. So, and with my full-time job, I don't always get to get everything done as fast as I would like to. So, I came up with the idea to I thrifted a sweater to do this with, so I didn't take his normal sweaters yet. And in knitting, it's called steeking. So you make a sweater in the round, and then you design it so there's a panel in the middle of the front of the garment that then you can cut to make a cardigan. And by knitting in the round, you can knit it faster, versus if you do it a cardigan, you either piece it together, making the front panels and the back, and then you sew it together like a sewing garment, or you knit it in the round, but you have to start at the button band, go around to the other side, and then go down a row, and then all the way back. Where knitting in the round, you start at one spot, you just keep going around in a circle until you get to the end of the garment. It's the simplified version. So what I did was, I thrifted this cardigan, and this button band's already done, this one isn't, so we'll start on this side. I took a very tiny stitch before I cut it, and I went 5/8 of an inch off the center line where I was going to cut, and made a line with my fabric pen, and I made a very tiny 5/8 of an inch in the same charcoal colored material in thread down the and to stabilize the stitches, and I did it on both sides, and then I cut the middle, and after I cut the middle, I serged it. Then after I serged it, I had some of this really nice wool and linen fabric that I made these button bands, as I'm calling them. And I didn't serge the bottom or the top because I didn't know how big I was going to need it. So on this one, what I did then is I unpicked the collar on the inside. I know it's hard to see it in this camera. So I unpicked this and I serged the top of the band. I slid it underneath and I sewed from this tip all the way down. And then afterwards, I folded the button band back over and I stitched it back down by hand because I couldn't figure out how to do it so that the stitches wouldn't show on the outside. So I just whip stitched it down on the inside. And now the inside looks like this. And this is already folded under. So this is that raw selvage edge. It's folded. So now I'll just take and whip stitch the rest of it down on the inside, so you won't be able to see it from the outside, and you'll have a cardigan. And I just have to put buttonholes in and put the buttons on. So it's a homemade cardigan, but if it works, I can convert all of his sweaters into cardigans, which will make it easier for him to get on and off. So, he doesn't seem to mind it. He thinks it looks good. He tried it on, and after I stitched it down the front, I had him try it on to see if it would fit, and it did, and he liked it. And there's still enough room that, you know, I had to be really careful about where to position the button band, and I have all those measurements so I can put the buttons in the right spot. And so hopefully that's a solution for him. And if you've got someone in your life that is facing challenges physically, it's a great use of your skills, because you can definitely help that person with things that they need. So what else am I working on? That's pretty much everything. There's lots of projects in the background I'd like to get to. I've bought different patterns and things that I'd like to get to, but right now I'm trying to keep projects limited because time is valuable. So I'm curious to know what you're working on. Are you doing anything for holiday sewing or projects for family members, or is there a really cool sewing project that you really want to get done? I'd love to hear about it, so definitely leave me a comment below. If you want to hear more about my lovely sewing space and how I make it all fit in this little tiny space, I'm glad to do that as well. Sometimes as sewists, we've just got to be creative with the space we have available. And so that's what I've done with my space, is gotten really creative and clever. And moving to this apartment, we moved here just a few weeks ago. It's been nice because I've been able to keep my machines out. My sewing machine's here and my serger's back here. And I don't have to take them up and down, which is so nice. It's been many, many years since I've had that pleasure. Normally it's, you have to take and set everything up, sew, and then you have to take everything back down because the space has to be used for another use. So I'm kind of getting spoiled even after a few weeks of, I don't have to take the machines up and down anymore. So it's kind of a nice pleasure. So I'm glad to talk about my sewing space and how I created it. So definitely leave me a comment below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you soon. Have a wonderful day. Bye.